This video is going to teach you how to name or identify a seventh of a chord and how to calculate specific sevenths. So let's just dive right in. You know that a triad has three notes, a root, third, and fifth, like C, E, G, or D, F, A. And depending on the distance between these notes, we get major triads, minor triads, diminished triads, and even augmented triads. So what we're going to do today is say, well, what happens when we add that next note on top? We call it the seventh. So like C, E, G, the seventh will be B. Excuse me. And we've done this in a video before, so that's a little bit of a review. The trick here is to understand that instead of going all the way up, you can just go back from the root one step. So C, E, G, and that's B right there. I'm going to show you that on a piano so you can see it a different way. So if I have my C, E, and G right there, I can keep going up to the B, or I could just go down to the B. It doesn't matter which way you conceive of it. Most textbooks and people talk about it linearly going C, E, G, B, but think of it like this and then just go to right there. That's in a previous video. You should know how to do that. We could do this for every chord. We could say, hey, what's an A chord with the seventh? There's my triad, A, C, E, and you can go up this way, but I'd like you to just think backwards right there. Okay? A, C, E, G. All right? Good. Now, what we want to do when we talk about calculating sevenths is understand that there are different kinds of sevenths, just like there are different kinds of triads, meaning distances between the root and the seventh can be different depending on whether you use sharps or flats or where that sits on the keyboard. Let's investigate that. So, if you have your C, E, G chord right there, and you throw a seventh on it, the B, see how it's just one half step back, right? If we were to count up this way to B from here, that would be 11 half steps. Or, if you think of it back from the root, it's like minus one half step right there, okay? That has a specific name. When your root is here and your seventh is only down a half step, meaning one key, or up 11 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, we call that a major seventh. And I just want you to know that I recognize this gets confusing. We have major triads, we have major scales, and now we have major distances between notes. So a major seventh is when you go root down to seventh and it's a half step down, right? Okay, like C to B, all right? Let's go back to our keyboard here. If I have a D chord, D, F, A, and I grab my seventh right there, C, we can see that this is down 1, 2 half steps, which is a whole step down, right? Right? That has a different name. So if you have a root, maybe I'll write this in a different color so that it looks different. If you have a root that goes down to the seventh, and it is a whole step, then we call that a minor seventh. Okay? Could we go down further? Technically, you can keep adding as many flats or whatever you need to the notes to keep separating them. So if for some reason you went from your root down to a seventh and you went 1.5 steps, it's like 3 half steps, we call that a diminished 7, right? So that's what you need to learn today. If I go from my root down to the seventh and it's a half step, we call it a major seventh. If we go from our root down a whole step, that distance is called a minor seventh. And then if we go down 1.5 steps, that's called a diminished seven. Okay?